Hello, guys. Welcome to our channel. So, this is a little bit of an update after our last video. So, the last video was about our visa application at VFS. So, we've got some big news. There's been a big change of plans, but we are going to share as much information in this video as possible so you guys can learn through us. So this is our experience as South Africans applying for our European visa. Okay, so hit it, Tian.
So if you're going to Europe, so we wanted to go to Italy and Montenegro and then back to Italy. So and maybe put in some Portugal there as well. So then you need to get a Schengen visa for your Schengen countries. So there's certain countries in Europe that's regarded as Schengen countries. So you can actually Google that and just have a look. I think we'll just add in a little list and an article under here so you can see what it's about. So the first thing that we realized was when we basically wanted to give them like a personal savings account and then like an investment account, but that's a bank account, and then like a business account to just for that proof of funds. So the first thing they said is no, you can't give us like your credit card account. You that doesn't count. You need to have everything in a private savings account. So already the funds available in that account and keep it in there, and then proof of funds from there. So even if you've got a business account, so we are digital nomads, so we've got business accounts that we prefer to keep cash in, keep money in. So you can't use that as proof. You need to use the other one. And if you've got like a credit card, even if you've got whatever overdraft, that doesn't count. So and if you've got like an investment account, so it doesn't make sense to just leave money in an account where it doesn't have interest. At least in a savings in a investment account you get your whatever percentage it is. So take all that money, put it into one account, just give them one set of bank statements with everything in. Ideally, if you can show them, I think you need to give them like 3 months of bank statements. So if you can put that cash in there already and keep it in there for like 3 months, that would be the best scenario. Then just a breakdown of what I want you to prove. So basically what they want, so we are going to do we're going to do workaways. So workaway is a program that you go work overseas, and you basically get your accommodation and your food is covered by the host, but then you do like 4 to 5 hours of work um, with your host. So we typically do like DIY kind of stuff, maintenance. Veronica does a lot of the social media kind of stuff. So what you need in terms of your income is, or in terms of your daily for that, is 50 euros, even if you're going to be doing that. So 50 euros per day basically works out at 900 euros per month per person, and then it's about 18,000 rand. So they said we need to show about 20,000 per person per month. So for two of us, it was about 40,000 between us that we needed to show per month that we want to go. And then over the 3 months that it worked out, then it came to like 120,000 that you need to have in that savings account as a proof of funds. Then the second thing, in invitation letters. So we had like invitation letters that into the country on the 1st, leaving on the 30th, but then you have the next dose, the accommodation is available from say the 25th up to whatever date. So they said that wasn't allowable. We needed to have specific dates. So we needed to have, okay, you're coming in, if your flight is leaving here on a certain day, it's landing on that site on a certain day, you're taking 2 days travel there, so it's from this date. So we needed to have the host adjust those letters again and give us new letters specifying that. And then they didn't want us to just have like a basic, I'm whoever, I'm inviting this person over to my place kind of thing. They wanted the full details of inviting them from this day to this day. They will stay in here with me, and I will be paying for their food and responsible for their accommodation, giving them a free accommodation or whatever the story is. And then they wanted the person's full address. They wanted a copy of their ID, a copy of a proof of residence kind of thing for them, and then a letter that they provided us that they needed to fill in. That letter is also, or that form, that they needed us to fill in. That form is also a bit difficult to understand.
There's only 2 options on that form.
Yeah, there's nothing that's like workaway based option on there. So yeah, that was also actually strange, because you would think if you look at that €30, that excludes your accommodation. So it's just like living cost per day. But if you're going to be staying with someone that's basically covering all those costs, then you don't have all those costs. So it doesn't make sense to have a €30 per day kind of thing in there. Your living costs will be a lot lower, of course, but they don't kind of take account into that. They're basically saying you need to have that available. So yeah, in the case. Then the host form, that must also correlate with what's on your invitation letter. So if it says going on the 1st to the 30th, it must, on that host form, it must also say 1st to the 30th, for example. So just make sure that the information on the invitation letter correlates with the information that's on the form. On that form, it doesn't say what kind of stuff you're going to be paying. So we just sent our host a confirmation that said, we'll be paying for our own flights, we'll be paying for our own local transport, we'll be paying for any extracurricular activities, anything that we're going to be doing, like travels and trips and tours and insurance and that kind of thing. So yeah, basically making sure that we cover that angle for them. Yeah, then the next thing was the proof of address. So in, like with us, we basically are busy selling everything. We're busy just minimizing and becoming as aesthetic as possible.
Nomads,
yeah. And basically, wherever we are, that is where we are, and that's where our house is, our home is. But with what they wanted from us is a proof of address that's specifically a utility bill, or that we need to provide them. So with us, because we had given up our properties and we don't have any rental agreements or anything like that, it was very difficult to actually give them that. So eventually we had to say, okay, we've got a cousin that we can stay with, and that gave us a letter that said, okay, this is what we can do. And she gave us her proof of residence, and then she had to fill in a form just stating that we stay with her, that they actually gave us. That was a separate form that we didn't have, that they gave us, and that we basically needed to have her complete and sent in, and
with the bill.
With the bill, and then the bill also needed to correlate with the address on there. So yeah, it wasn't just a normal bill, it had to be a utility bill. On their forms they say they accept bank statements and things like that, but when we got there they were like, sorry, we don't do that again.
They don't.
the form says so, but bad luck. So also a bit of a surprise to us. And then when it came to our scheduling, we had our itinerary. Initially, we had done our itinerary. We were saying, okay, we're going to be spending 3 months in a Schengen country, then go 3 months out into Montenegro or to one of the non-Schengen countries, and then 3 months in Schengen again. So there's a limit. You can only do 90 days, sorry. You can only do 90 days in a Schengen country, 90 days out of the Schengen country, and 90 days in that Schengen country again. So it's actually what they call a Schengen shuffle. So a lot of the guys have to do that. But when we gave them that itinerary initially, and when we were talking to the guys over the phone and so on, they kind of said, no, it's fine, no, you can do that. So when we gave them that, and we were kind of preparing to work on that basis, but then they said, no, they can't do that. We need to basically only be in Schengen for 3 months. We can't have where we going out to a non-Schengen coming back. The logic behind it was for us to get from South Africa plane tickets is between 12 and 15,000 for a return ticket each. But if you go local traveling, it's like $1,000 for us to travel from a Schengen to a non-Schengen country.
It's cheaper,
yeah. And there's some nice workaways in other places, like we said, Montenegro. And
Turkey, there was quite a few.
Yeah, there was quite a few that was quite nice, and even in some parts of Greece and so on. So yeah, so that was our initial planning. So they said we can't do a 3 months Schengen, 3 months non-Schengen, 3 months Schengen again, because they can't give us a visa to be able to do those 2-3 month stretches. We basically need to come back to South Africa and then go through the whole process again. So yeah.
Yeah, so this is quite a lot of information. So I see we're on 11 minutes already. So I'm going to cut this video and then I'm going to make the next one to share the other bit that we've learned, okay? Because this is a lot of information. This was quite a challenge. Guys, we literally went through 3 people. Yes, yes, no.
On that day, but
on that day.
The previous, we had basically gone, that was like the third time that we had gone there.
Yes, we went to call them. Was it we called them? We saw them. And embassy.
No, we went to VFS three times. Yeah. So we basically went there like 3 times to try and get it sorted out. So the first time they only gave us basic information and basically told us, like, here's some forms, you need to fill this in, this is what you need. And then the rest of information is on the website. So we did that and we went through that. We called them, we couldn't get quite the proper answers and everything we needed because there were some questions we had in terms of the form. It was the first times that we've done it, and some of the things are not very clear on the website, and even if you read through everything, it wasn't
it's
quite
not clear, no. And
So,
even when you speak to them, like Tian did tell them in the beginning, that's our plan, that 3 months in, 3 months out, 3 months in. And they did not make us aware that it's not possible.
Yeah.
Because now we have to reshuffle everything again. But I'll tell you guys more in the next video. Okay. Cheers, guys.